What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, May 10th, 2025, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 14:23 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Pakistan and India. I wanted to share all the latest information that I have related to Pakistan and India. It looks like the escalation over there is continuing, and the major breaking news that came in late last night was that the Pakistani Prime Minister called for an urgent meeting of the Pakistani Nuclear War Committee. Now, this is a government body in Pakistan that deals with the use of nuclear weapons. Okay, it's called the National Command Authority in Pakistan. That's actually also what we call that over here in the U.S. Okay, so Pakistan's Nuclear War Committee met yesterday for some reason, okay, probably to decide when to use nuclear weapons against India, okay? Now, before I continue with the update on India and Pakistan, I wanted to just share some very, very concerning information coming out of Ukraine. So what you're looking at here is a security alert that was put out yesterday from the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv. And it says here, the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv has received information concerning a potentially significant air attack that may occur at any time over the next several days. The embassy, as always, recommends U.S. citizens be prepared to immediately shelter in the event an air alert is announced. Okay, so a potentially significant air attack may occur at any time over the next several days, according to the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. Now, in addition to this security alert, something very concerning popped up in Russia. So Russia put a NOTAM up around Kapustin Yar test site, stating that the airspace will be closed for a 22-hour period from 9 a.m. on May 12th to 7 a.m. on May 13th. Now, this is the area where Russia launched the Oreshnik from at Ukraine the first time, okay? So potentially Russia is getting ready to use Oreshniks on Kyiv, okay? And specifically looks like May 12th through May 13th, so that would be Monday into Tuesday, okay? So we know that Putin ordered his military to pick out targets in Kyiv for an Oreshnik strike. And we also know that several Western European leaders are in Kyiv this weekend. We have the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, we have the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron, and then the Polish Prime Minister are in Kyiv this weekend. So it looks like Russia may strike either while those leaders are in Kyiv, or they may do it right after they leave, okay? And we have some major breaking news coming in from Diego Garcia. So last night, amateur radio enthusiasts reported hearing the B-2 stealth bombers in Diego Garcia flying to Australia and heading back to the U.S. So the U.S. is returning the stealth bombers from Diego Garcia to the U.S. Okay, so this could be because Trump struck a deal with Iran, or I don't know what the reason is, but that is definitely very, very unusual. So it looks like we're not going to be participating in any kind of big strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, at least not at the moment. Or the other potential is that they move the B-2s back to the U.S. because they're expecting escalation between Pakistan and India, and they want those B-2s here at home in case something were to happen. Okay, so the B-2 stealth bombers are moving back to the U.S. for some reason. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for this update, which is My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply has brought back their $200 discount on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the discount, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. That's preparewithnyprepper.com to get $200 off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. This is freeze-dried food, so it has a 25-year shelf life, and it's all packed within 6 rugged, watertight buckets, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. You can easily fit this in a small closet in a studio apartment. And the food has all of your essential vitamins and minerals and up to 2,000 calories per day. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply, 25-year shelf life for just $500. That's $200 off their normal price. So use the link in the description below this video. So I'm going to cover all of this live. If anything happens, if there is an Oreshnik strike, I will provide live coverage, just like I did last night when the news came out that Pakistan's Nuclear War Committee had a meeting. We also have some very concerning news coming out of the Jerusalem Post. This is yet to be confirmed 100%, but the Jerusalem Post is reporting that Trump is preparing to announce the U.S. recognition of a Palestinian state at the upcoming Gulf U.S. summit in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so he's going to Saudi Arabia next week. Interestingly, he's not going to be visiting Israel, and we know that Netanyahu and Trump are not on good terms right now because Netanyahu got pissed off when Trump announced that he was trying to make a deal with the Iranians rather than striking them, and then suddenly the Trump administration announced a ceasefire deal with the Houthis, and Israel was not told about that either. Okay, and now reports are coming in that Trump is going to recognize a Palestinian state, so very crazy situation. And so I wanted to update you more on Pakistan and India. So what's very strange is this morning there was a ceasefire announced by Trump. He said that last night diplomats in the U.S., including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, worked all night to get a ceasefire between Pakistan and India. However, they already violated the ceasefire. Okay, so the ceasefire has already been violated. Pakistan launched numerous drones, and India is now thinking about responding to that. Okay, so the war is not over. So here's a video showing Indian air defenses engaging Pakistani drones that violated the ceasefire. So no ceasefire, and India's foreign minister announced that Pakistan violated the ceasefire. Apparently India responded already, and blasts have been heard in Islamabad. And the Pakistan Prime Minister is expected to address the nation of Pakistan at 11:35 p.m. local time, so that's probably going to be in just about an hour, okay? And all Pakistani citizens were told to stay home. This was reported by the U.S. consulate in Pakistan. So the Pakistani government is telling all of its citizens to stay indoors for some reason, which sounds to me like a preparation for total war, potentially nuclear war. In addition to that stay-at-home order, also the gas stations in the capital of Pakistan are all going to be closed. You can see here Islamabad Capital Territory, all petrol stations within Islamabad Capital Territory shall remain closed from 6 a.m. on Saturday for the next 48 hours. Okay, so that is pretty weird. Sounds like they're either trying to ration fuel or potentially they're scared of secondary explosions from these gas pumps being turned on if India retaliates with nuclear weapons on Islamabad or some kind of conventional strikes. They don't want secondary explosions from all these gas stations being turned on, okay? And we have unconfirmed reports of an Indian missile striking Afghanistan. India is denying these reports, and Pakistan has completely closed its airspace. And there were multiple explosions heard at the Shahbaz Air Base, the primary base for Pakistan's F-16s. We're hearing of casualties and damage reported at Pakistan's Ballari Air Base. And the Indian Defense Minister chaired a high-level meeting with all three service chiefs of the Indian military today. So the Army, Navy, and Air Force of the Indian military, all the chiefs of those services met with the Indian Defense Minister, okay? And the Pakistani planning minister said we would hate to see the nuclear threshold crossed. And the Pakistani army is confirming that most Pakistan government websites were hacked and are down. And the Indian Ministry of Health has canceled all leave and employees are being recalled. That's what you're looking at over here. Okay, you can see All India Institute of Medical Sciences. This order here says all kinds of leave, including vacation and station leave, in view of emerging circumstances. So they're calling back all employees to the Ministry of Health. Obviously, that's preparation for a total war with Pakistan. And the French government has issued a notice to airmen along the entire international border of India and Pakistan. They don't want French pilots flying over this area, so they're putting out a warning here. And the U.S. State Department said that the diplomatic mission to Pakistan has banned the movement of all employees. Okay, so all personnel at the U.S. State Department in Pakistan, the embassies and consulate, are not allowed to move. And the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with the Pakistani Army chief last night, according to the U.S. State Department. And yesterday, Pakistan said India fired missiles at key military bases in Pakistan, including targeting a base close to the capital, Islamabad. The majority of the missiles were intercepted, according to military spokesman Lieutenant General Ahmed Chaudhry. The missiles that came down did not cause damage, he added, but I do have some footage that will contradict that. He said that India hit the Nur Khan Air Base, the Shorkat Air Base, the Murid Air Base from their jets. All were intercepted. India also launched missiles and drones at Afghanistan, Chaudhry said in a live broadcast that aired by state television. Pakistan's air defenses successfully intercepted cruise missiles fired at Rafiq Air Base in Shorkat, Chaudhry added. And the Indian military says it has actively begun large-scale mobilization of additional forces to the border of Pakistan, including activating its reserve territorial army to ensure full operational strength of the army in the event of any further conflict escalation. And the Indian Army spokeswoman Vyomika Singh said the Pakistani army is moving troops to forward areas along the border of India to conduct offensive operations. So maybe Pakistan is going to try to invade, okay? And the Indian Army said that Pakistan targeted medical and educational facilities in the Kashmir region of India. Wow. And Pakistan claims its military destroyed an Indian S-400 air defense system. And the Pakistan Chief of Army said, "We Pakistanis want the world to remember we didn't start it, but we will finish it." Wow, strong words there. And here we have some video footage coming out of Pakistan showing some kind of an Indian missile that was either shot down or crashed. Looks like some kind of a booster, rocket booster. Could be for the S-400. So, very, very interesting. And then here we have footage coming out of India showing some kind of a large kaboom in India at an air base. Check it out.
ये आप देख सकते हैं हमारे मैं घर के ऊपर खड़ा हूँ ये सामने अभी अभी धमाका हुआ है अभी अभी ये देखिए धुआं उठ रहा है यहाँ से अभी
You can see that massive mushroom cloud there. And then here we have footage from Pakistan showing a runway at one of their air bases that has a massive crater in it. So clearly India tried to crater Pakistan's runways so they can't use them for their fighter jets. Okay, so massive crater. Look at that. Okay, this is in Pakistan. Absolutely insane. And the leaders of France, Britain, and Germany arrived in Kyiv for a joint visit with the Polish Prime Minister. The Ukrainian President, the French President, the German Chancellor, the British Prime Minister, and the Polish Prime Minister held a joint phone call from Kyiv with the U.S. President Donald Trump and expressed their support for his proposal for an immediate 30-day ceasefire. Now, Russia is rejecting the 30-day ceasefire. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Russia has refused the 30-day ceasefire until arms supplies to Ukraine are completely stopped. He said Ukraine will continue mobilizing, sending more troops to the battlefield, and use this time to train fresh forces who are now resting. Okay, so Russia rejecting the 30-day ceasefire. And Iran is preparing to send Russia launchers for the Fath 360 short-range ballistic missiles, sources say, giving Moscow a faster, easier strike option against Ukrainian frontline targets and deepening military ties between Tehran and the Kremlin. Okay, so Iran is sending Russia short-range missiles. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I might be back later on tonight with more breaking news. Tune into my 24/7 live stream for continuing updates and for live monitoring of our nuclear forces. Very interestingly, we have not heard a single nuclear code transmitted by U.S. nuclear forces for like over a week. So I don't know if they switched frequencies or if they're using encrypted communications, but they're not transmitting emergency action messages for some reason. Okay, so it could be due to operational security, could be for some other technical reason. Typically, when things are escalating, the nuclear forces will either transmit a whole lot of EAMs or they won't transmit at all and maintain silence. So I think we're at the silence stage. But it does look like the ceasefire announced by Trump has already been violated, and it doesn't look like it's going to hold. So until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.